for half a century.
Unknown aircraft, you have been intercepted by Republic of Singapore Air Force.
They've kept our skies safe.
We cannot afford to fail, and this is what Singapore depends on.
Pioneer, prepare to mount. Mount!
So the driver's in front, the beacon's behind.
Ever watchful, whether from the ground or in the air. This year, as the Republic of Singapore Air Force celebrates its 50th anniversary,
2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 45.
On the Red Dot brings you unprecedented access to one of Southeast Asia's top militaries, where everything hangs on a split second.
Whichever mistake I do, they will be going down with me.
We'll find out what it takes to become the nation's top guns.
Once we finish the hit, we'll basically pull up into the vertical. This time we'll go vertical and then we'll roll. From there we will.
Major Chang Hao Ning is leading an elite group of F-15 and F-16 pilots. They are the new aerial display team.
Once we exit, then after that from there you're going to come down and then you're going to do your high G turn.
And in just 3 months, they perform at the Marina Barrage for the Golden Jubilee celebration of the Singapore Air Force. 3 fighter jets executing 18 maneuvers in 16 minutes.
This time when we go to Marina Barrage, what you'll see is that there's more high obstacles. The only thing is that there's a lack of visual reference.
The pilots are known by their call signs, nicknames used by military aviators in place of their names.
And pretty much nothing else. First gotcha area for us would be this area, okay?
For 3 months, on top of their professional duties, they will train intensively in aerobatic flying. Their leader, Major Chang, is known as Jerky. And there's chaos, drill, rabies, shaft, Dali, shooter, and splice. These pilots are among the best in the Air Force, handpicked after a rigorous process.
We will fly with them, each and every one of them, to do a audition flight. We will check their background, we'll talk to their peers, we'll talk to their commanders, and then from there we will shortlist. We basically have to be very selective in the individuals that we choose because it's a challenging role. So we're looking for very, very disciplined, very proficient pilots to do it. Experience matters a lot. Being able to be part of a team player is also very important.
Aerobatic teams such as the Black Knights are usually made up of small and nimble jets like the F-16. And for the first time, the Singapore Air Force is pairing them with the big and powerful F-15s. The difference in aerodynamics is a challenge for the pilots, who have to keep their planes in strict formation, just meters apart, while flying close to the speed of sound.
We are putting aircraft in close proximity to each other, and we are putting the aircraft in close proximity with the ground. A momentary lapse in a low-level environment would basically be disastrous, because when you're charging towards the ground at high speed, 2 seconds, 3 seconds is enough to cause a big mishap.
As you go into the 4-point roll, right, I think today slightly less angle of bang for the left turn and the inverted.
Okay.
Maybe the muscle climb also, I think.
This is a whole new challenge for F-15 pilot Shooter. The 30-year-old has been an Air Force pilot for 6 years, but this is his first time flying in an aerial display. What's more, he's a new addition to the team, having joined only a few weeks before.
Definitely with me as the new team member, I'm sure everybody is assessing me.
Actually, I think we can just flow with them to the north, and then as they split left, we split right, and then we still try to keep tally in that portion.
Yeah.
And then just fly a beam with them.
By then, we still might be a little bit early.
Yeah, we split up, we try to go.
Yeah, the pressure is definitely immense to be in this team. With the shorter workup training period for me to be able to build up to do a good show.
Shooter pilots an F-15, a twin-seater fighter jet. His partner in the cockpit is Weapons Systems Officer, or WISO, Splice.
We have very clear, delineated roles and responsibilities in each cockpit. The only difference they don't do is fly the aircraft, but they still manage the weapons systems, and we work together hand in hand to make sure we are able to execute the mission.
In an aerial display, the WISO works with the pilot to maneuver the plane. They have to hit certain altitudes at specific times. Any error could be fatal. Splice is a little wary. He's never flown with his pilot, Shooter, in an aerial display before.
It's not that I don't have absolute trust in Shooter, but this is something new to him and he hasn't done it before. Neither have I flown with him before, so we're still building the partnership. I have to build that trust for him not to, do anything unsafe. We're putting in ourselves very close to the ground. So the partnership is, I need to ensure that he knows what he does.
This is the first time the entire team is flying their maneuvers at low altitude.
So we have to be there right at that second for the whole sequence to be nicely brought to the audience. Today is my first time experience doing this form of maneuvers down low altitude over Singapore. Is definitely an eye-opening experience.
As Shooter executes the 360-degree vertical loop,
Warning of showers, thunderstorm, and storming. Lightning wind category 1.
a thunderstorm starts rolling in from the west.
Because we're flying so low to the ground, we need to maintain a visual of the ground. Because if you go into the weather, you won't be able to see the ground. It will turn into a bad situation quickly.
As the winds start to rise, the turbulence makes it too dangerous for the pilots to fly close together. One by one, the fighter jets abort their practice session and return to base.
When I look over, I can't see you guys, so I'm guessing where you are.
The visibility is quite bad. Even on the ground, wow, the visibility you can't see much.
Yep. So watch out for that. I couldn't see you, so...
The team has only 2 more months to perfect their plan. The aborted flight only means less training time, and team leader Jerky is particularly concerned about his newest pilot.
Let's go through. The problem was that I think there was one maneuver you didn't even call in.
The goal for myself is obviously to be able to execute to the best I can, and the team has really actually started working up since last year. But I'm just a new addition, and I actually have a lot lesser workup training time, so definitely the pressure is high.
Air Force engineer Lim Jianhao is preparing this F-16 fighter jet for a safe launch. A meticulous pre-flight check has spotted a potential flaw.
Sir, I need your help on this.
Jianhao's supervisor, Kartik, is a veteran F-16 Air Force engineer with over 25 years' experience.
The hook shank has a small gap. Don't know whether is it within
The safety
limit.
pin is in, right?
Yes.
Is it binding?
No, it's not binding.
Okay, now, when you look at the shank, right, is it completely giving a gap or is it actually touching at 70% of the area of the rubber pads? You look at it.
Touching 70%.
So as long as 70% is touching, the gaps are still okay. So it's good to go.
Okay.
Right? Okay, this is an important job because it's not only one pilot's life. If anything goes wrong with the jet, it also entails the people on the ground. So we are telling them, make sure you do your job accurately and competently and professionally. Afternoon, sir.
This fighter jet is one of 4 F-16s flying in the Golden Jubilee aerial display. Its pilot, Dali, arrives for a briefing before the day's practice.
Here you have your 3M reading tape as well as your MFL 065 reading. Okay, over time I actually see a lot of junior pilots when they come in as a second lieutenant and then they actually grow up in the squadron. They respect me because I'm so long in the system. So they talk to me about certain systems, so how do I check what is actually wrong with the jet. So we share this kind of relationship. I would say it's more like brothers because we are close, because we're all in the same squadron, so they trust one another.
Good, thank you.
Thanks, clear.
Hands are clear.
As Dali takes off for a day of aerobatic practice, something unusual has caught the eye of controllers at the command center.
Shikra control strength 5 for me.
Shikra, strength 5, likewise. Control, Shikra is visual unknown aircraft heading east, 6,000 feet.
Roger. Shikra to intercept unknown west of Singapore, bullseye 27715, 5,000 feet.
Shikra 1, roger.
Singapore's Air Force is on high alert every day for potential threats to the country. This time, an unknown aircraft has entered Singapore's airspace and Flash is sent to investigate.
We went up to intercept and interrogate. We cannot afford to fail, and this is what Singapore depends on.
This is the first time the young major is confronting an unknown intruder.
Shikra to ID and intercept unknown aircraft.
A break in the clouds gives Flash what he's looking for.
Control, unknown aircraft is a Diamond 40.
Roger, Diamond 40.
Unknown aircraft, you have been intercepted by Republic of Singapore Air Force armed fighters. Comply with all our instructions. Acknowledge.
It's a critical moment for both Flash and the intruder. If it remains unresponsive, Flash may have no choice but to assume it has ill intent.
Up in the air, things happen very fast. It's very dynamic. We cannot afford to let our nerves get to us.
Flash makes a last-ditch attempt to determine if the aircraft is friend or foe.
Unknown aircraft, if you can hear me, rock your wings.
Finally, a signal, and it looks friendly. Because of Singapore's small size, this plane might have strayed into its airspace by accident, and it's now up to Flash to guide it to safety.
Unknown aircraft, if you are requesting to land in Changi Airport, rock your wings.
In the control room, Captain Spencer Lee is keeping a close watch. This incident that has just played out is in fact a training exercise he is coordinating, a test of Flash's ability to handle an unknown intruder.
Controller.
Shikra to escort unknown aircraft to land in Changi, turn left. Roger. Chief, unknown aircraft is compliant, maintaining 3,000 feet heading 090.
Roger. I think there are many ways things could go wrong. One of them being unable to establish communications with the unknown aircraft. That really tests the pilots to think out of the box to try to understand and to establish the intent of the unknown aircraft. I think the pilot did well and communicated effectively and well to report the behavior of the unknown aircraft to ground agencies so that we can decide on what else to do after.
I'm pretty sure I perform up to standards, but every mission has its own different challenges. There's always room for improvement, and that's the idea and that's the mentality we go to every single mission.
Training missions are a daily routine for Air Force pilots. But for the 8 aerobatic aviators, there's a bigger task at hand. They've got to perfect their skills for the Golden Jubilee. And with the show just weeks away, training is about to get more intense.
Initiated 6G.
I grew up in an Air Force family. My dad was in the Air Force ever since I was born. And also every Chinese New Year at my house is a tradition. When I was young last time, we'll keep watching Top Gun. You know, when you're a kid and you see something cool, you just like latch onto it, and then that's now my dream. So I just follow my dreams. That's the kind of guy I am, follow my dreams.
Following his dream has led Captain Paul Matthew Lim, aka Chaos, to become a member of the elite aerial display team.
I never get scared. Because when you fly, there's a lot of adrenaline, and I think adrenaline helps you do things that you normally are incapable of.
But there's one thing adrenaline can't overcome: gravity. With every acceleration of his F-15 and every aerobatic swoop and curve, Chaos is subject to powerful gravitational forces that pull blood away from his brain. He could even black out mid-flight.
1,000, 2,000, breathe. 1,000, 2,000, breathe.
Today, Chaos is training to withstand the high gravitational forces he will face in the upcoming Golden Jubilee performance.
Check from the PTO station, how do you read?
Okay, so next profile is a 6G per second. Rapid onset to 6Gs, hold for 40 seconds with G-suit pressure.
Normally when I sit inside, right, I feel like an impending sense of dread because you know that it's coming and it's very painful.
Once ready, let us know.
Okay, ready.
Okay, can proceed.
System up, you can pull back control stick to start profile, head firmly back. Profile initiated, 6G.
Inside the simulator, Chaos struggles to tighten and flex the muscles in his lower body to control the flow of blood to his brain.
20 seconds.
He's close to breaking point. Under high gravitational pressure, his head weighs 45 kilograms.
30 seconds.
Quick air exchanges.
Seconds. System coming back to idle.
How was the vision?
Yeah, good. I feel glad that it's over. Yeah, like mentally and physically exhausted. Sight dizziness. When you're in the cockpit, your mind is thinking on like your objective at that point. Like, why am I putting this G's? Maybe I want to like carve a turn, perform a maneuver or such. So here you have nothing to focus on but the G itself. I think it's more challenging than the actual aircraft.
Training has intensified for Chaos and the Aero Display team. Their special 50th anniversary performance over the Marina Barrage is just weeks away. They're now flying up to twice a day, practicing each of their 18 maneuvers over and over.
The whole idea of this is to build capacity. So when the pilots train time after time until the lot of the actions become second nature, that is when they have capacity to think about dealing with contingencies. But how well do we deal with weather? How well do we deal with winds? How well do we deal with each other? Everything will be scrutinized. And that's how we get ourselves close to perfection.
The pilots have also begun rehearsing at Sudong, one of Singapore's southern islands. There, they will train at progressively lower altitudes over the next few weeks.
For normal air crew, you will not do low altitude aerobatics. Right? The risk is high, and the wrong decision or the wrong maneuver can be deadly. You don't really have much reaction time down low altitude.
Give us some turning room.
Shooter hasn't been able to get enough flying time with his Wizzo splice due to bad weather.
Slow down a bit, find some time first. 4,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 45.
But he doesn't want to let the entire team down.
Compared to the rest of the team, I only have like half the time to build up to their level. And obviously I have to put in my own fair share of hard work to make sure that I don't disappoint them.
Shooter goes in for a difficult solo maneuver. 4 90-degree turns, but each is far from precise. Next, a maneuver known as the dedication pass.
Slow down a bit, find some time first.
But Shooter is too far ahead of the F-16s and throws off the routine.
When I start a certain maneuver when I'm flying by my wing, I need to make sure that I'm consistent with the Gs, and then a certain power setting, I have to make sure I set it to what they expect, and so that they can be nice and tight when they're flying in that formation. We really trust our life with each other, especially when the F-16s fly by my wing. Whichever mistake I do, they will be going down with me.
He needs to be a bit more critical about his timings because it's so dynamic. There was a lot of times where he hasn't reached the consistency whereby the rest of the team members can actually anticipate his move.
You want me to continue a turn, or I can flat another 270?
It will definitely be better, and I don't think it will take long to build that bond and partnership with him.
You obviously, when you are doing something, you want to do your best. So obviously there will be down days and there will be good days. And it's just how you climb out of it after having a bad day.
Shooter wants to stay positive, but training is only going to get tougher in the coming days.
We're going to start to step down the altitudes progressively until we reach 500 feet. The margin for error becomes less. The tolerance for mistakes also becomes less because we'll start to nitpick on every little thing.
And even as this new kid steps up from the wings, another struggles to step out of his mentor's shadow.
Speaking truthfully, I feel that most of the time I'm actually holding back what I can do.
Maybe you tell me your limitation.